The little maid personally helped her master out of the filthy, stain-covered clothes he was wearing. She forced him to change into a brand new shirt, but when she turned around again, what met her was the black, icy-cold barrel of a gun. Yet not only was she not afraid, she instead seemed to have gone mad, begging her master to kill her with his own hands. She was the 10th maid assigned to care for the count. This girl hated seeing her own appearance. Her mother had given birth to her in a stable. A girl born in the slums, she had never known the blessing of parental love. And on her face, there was an ugly birthmark. Her mother named her Paula, meaning a life shrouded in dust. And indeed, her life was as insignificant as dust. A drunken and violent father, and a mother who could no longer endure the abuse and eventually ran away, left behind only 5 young children. The neighbors all gossiped about how long they could possibly survive. The first to die was the youngest, who had only just been born. Right after that, it was the second sister who was sold off. The last time Paula saw her was when she escaped back home begging for help. The girl was covered in wounds, with hardly a single spot left uninjured. Her father quickly dragged her back again. Not long after, she heard that her second sister had caught an infectious disease and died. Her body was left all alone on the street. Everyone was saying that she had actually been beaten to death. Before long, the fourth sister also died in her arms. Paula buried her alone. Before that tiny mound of earth, there was not even a gravestone. From the distance came the voices of people talking about her. It's all thanks to that face of yours. If you weren't ugly, you probably wouldn't have lived this long either. You would have ended up just like your sister long ago. You could call that a kind of blessing. You call this a blessing? She was so poor she had never even eaten a single full meal, and 3 blood relatives had failed to survive the suffering and died one after another. What was left to her was only a father like a demon, and a third sister who hated her and mocked her. If there truly was a hell in this world, then it had to be here, until one day, a nobleman appeared. "I want to hire your daughter." And just like that, Paula was sold off like merchandise. Her father, having received a large sum of money, grinned from ear to ear. The only favored third sister also saw her off with a mocking smile. "Goodbye, big sister. Don't ever come back again. Elisa, take good care of that pretty face of yours because it's the only thing you have of any value." Perhaps this was just another road leading to hell. Maybe it was even more dangerous than where she was now, yet Paula still felt happy. For the first time, she had escaped that narrow, suffocating hell. Soon, she arrived at the estate where she was about to work. A distinguished, noble family, the Bellunita family. The one she was to serve was the true master of this mansion, Vincent Bellunita. She was warned that everything she saw and heard here had to be kept absolutely secret. Otherwise, she would face severe punishment. The moment the door was pushed open, it was as if she saw a forest spirit. He was gilded by sunlight, as though glowing. A teacup suddenly smashed onto the floor, shattering right by her feet. The head maid lowered her head in a respectful bow. The man pulled the bedsheet tighter around himself. "Get out, master. It's time for you to eat. I've prepared some food that's easy to swallow. For the sake of your health, please at least have a little. I told you to get out." Another vase came flying over. Before Paula had time to understand what was happening, she heard the head maid begin introducing her. "I've brought a child to attend to you. If you need anything, please instruct her directly." The man was still cursing. "Get out." But the head maid seemed long accustomed to it. "I'll bring dinner again later." The next second, Paula saw the man pull out a knife. She did not want to lose this newly obtained job. She immediately rushed forward. "Please be careful. Don't hurt yourself." But she failed to notice the bedsheets scattered by her feet. When she opened her eyes again, he was pressing her down from above. Sweat slid down his cheeks. It was a face too striking to describe in words. Paula had never seen anyone so beautiful, but something was clearly wrong with him. His body trembled nonstop, as if he were terrified of something. That large hand came at her. The instant before it touched her eyes, Paula used all her strength to push him away. The head maid immediately rushed forward. The man was gasping for breath in great gulps. Paula suddenly realized something. This man's eyes could not see at all. He began to howl, grabbing everything within reach around him, and smashing it wildly in every direction. Vincent Bellunita was the only child of the illustrious Count and Countess Bellunita. From a young age, he had drawn attention for his outstanding looks and excellent achievements. When his parents died in an accident, everyone worried whether he, inheriting the family at such a young age, could hold it together. But to everyone's surprise, he shouldered the family with exceptional confidence and even brought the Bellunita family to even greater heights. But happiness came to an abrupt end at this very moment. One day, tragedy finally struck. At a banquet hosted by the royal family, he accidentally came into contact with poison brought by an assassin. At first, there was only a sharp pain in his eyes. Then his vision gradually blurred until he could no longer see anything clearly. Darkness fell, and in the end, he became blind. Not long after that, he never left his room again. Rumors outside all said that he had been injured at the banquet and was recuperating. Only a very few people truly knew his condition. To keep the secret, Paula had to serve him all by herself. He was always roaring in anger, smashing everything within reach. He cursed at her and told her to get out. Paula placed the food on the floor, but the man shouted again, Take it out, I don't need it. No matter how much he resisted, she still had to fulfill her duty as a maid. He was in terrible condition, his clothes so dirty, they looked worn with grime, and who knew how long it had been since they were last changed or washed. In an almost mechanical tone, she said, "The bedsheets and clothes both need changing. It would be even better if you were willing to take a bath." The man hysterically shouted at her to get out. "It seems you are very dissatisfied with me." "Yes, extremely dissatisfied. Now get out. What exactly are you dissatisfied with? Please tell me and I'll change." "I'm dissatisfied with everything about you. From head to toe." She set down the tray. "I will do my best to satisfy you, master. There's no need. You just need to disappear from my sight." She really wanted to punch this man. Paula silently calculated it in her heart. He was always throwing these dangerous things around. Could she pretend to slip and hit him once, even just once, to vent her anger? Unexpectedly, although the man could not see, his senses were exceptionally sharp. "What are you thinking? Don't come near me, or I'll kill you." Paula smiled and said, "Nothing, master. I only want to help you change the bedsheets. Please move aside." The moment she finished speaking, something else flew toward her. This time, it hit its mark perfectly. Paula's vision began to blur. What appeared before her eyes was her demon-like father. At her feet lay a shattered clock. This time, she was truly angry. After being hit by her master, the girl bent down and picked up the clock from the floor. The glass on its face had already shattered, but the hand still kept ticking stubbornly, just like her own broken and miserable life. Useless thing. What an ugly freak. Looking like that is bad enough, and you still run around everywhere. Can't big sister at least cover her face before going out? I'm dying of embarrassment because of you. The eye that had been hit swelled up, and she gradually calmed down from her anger. If you don't like me, then fine, but why throw something so dangerous? What? Are you afraid of dying? Even if you died here, no one would care. People like you are nothing more than beggars who'll do anything as long as they're paid. You filthy thing blinded by money. Didn't you come here for money too? If not, how could you so easily accept a stranger's proposal? The man's words grew more and more vicious, yet they were facts she could not refute. Do you know why this estate hired you? Because you're outstanding? Because you're trustworthy? No, none of that. It's simply because it doesn't matter if you die. It is always easy to accuse others, because as long as you push your pain onto someone else, it feels like you can briefly comfort yourself. People rely on belittling others to patch up their crumbling self-esteem. Paula knew this was human nature, so hearing such words now no longer hurt her. But being put in a worse mood was another matter. You really are vile. Since you are such a noble master, how did you end up living in such a filthy state? No matter how fallen he was, Vincent was still a nobleman. Red-faced, he warned, "Watch your mouth." But the next thing the girl said made him fall silent instantly. "You're right. I am indeed obsessed with material desires. Just as you said, master, I am someone whose death would not matter. So even if you ordered me killed, that would be fine. In that case, you really have nothing to fear. If you are still dissatisfied afterward, then please kill me. Of course, it would be best if you could let me die quickly. Now then, master, excuse me." The girl suddenly charged at the man, grabbed the bedsheet pinned beneath him, and gave it a fierce yank. The man who had been so imposing just moments ago was instantly thrown to the floor, his face full of shock. "What are you doing?" "I'm changing the bedsheets, master." With that, Paula walked toward him. She began unbuttoning his shirt. Vincent struggled backward. "Don't touch me," but the girl yanked him back at once. "What is it? Is there something about your body that can't be touched?" Though he could not see, he could clearly feel her breath drawing near. Vincent reached out, trying to push the girl away, but because he had not eaten for so long, he no longer had any strength at all. And so, just like that, she forcibly stripped off his clothes. The little maid was delighted inside, having finally succeeded in pushing things one step forward. But the moment she clearly saw the man's body, she froze. His nails had sunk deep into his flesh, as if he had been desperately clawing at himself, and he was frighteningly thin. Because of his tall frame, it had not shown at all when he was dressed. Not only was he so thin that his bones were clearly visible, but his entire body was also covered in wounds. She had once wondered why there were so many ornaments in her master's room. Wouldn't it be better to clear them all away? The head maid had been silent for a moment, and then answered her. "Leave them as they are. If everything gets smashed, she will replace them with new ones." So that was the reason. Once there was nothing left to vent his anger on, he would begin hurting himself. She pulled Vincent's hand away, gently touching his gaunt cheek. She comforted him in a low voice. Only then did he gradually calm down. Paula placed clean clothes in front of him. She let him change by himself, while she took the opportunity to change the bedsheets. She had only just finished tidying up when that little blind man had already rushed back onto the bed. That was way too fast. Wait. His discarded trousers were still lying scattered on the floor, along with a clean undergarment. The little maid looked up at the count. "Master, don't tell me you didn't change your underclothes?" The only reply she got was a cold "Get out." She had just been about to say that the underclothes had to be changed as well, when Vincent suddenly threw back the bedsheet, raised his hand, and pointed the gun at her. "Say one more word, and I'll make you die right here." From that day on, whenever Vincent encountered even the slightest situation that put him at a disadvantage, he would immediately pull out his gun, although he often waved it around blindly because he could not see. There were also a few times when the barrel was aimed precisely at her head. The two remained locked in the stalemate for a long time. Every night, the man would curl up and sit by the bed, pointing the gun at himself and cocking the hammer again and again. His master had not been like this from the beginning. Even after going blind, he had still been able to live normally at first, until several incidents happened one after another. The first was during an inspection of the village, when he was attacked, and the assassin turned out to be a little boy. The child plunged a knife into Vincent's chest, but after being captured, immediately killed himself. Then, it happened in the courtyard of the estate, when the attendant who had stepped away temporarily rushed back after hearing a scream. All he saw was a disheveled Vincent standing beside a man who had died, with an iron rod driven through his chest. The third time was at the dining table. The fourth time was in the corridor of the estate. The unending succession of assassination attempts and attacks completely crushed Vincent. Even the home where he had grown up was no longer safe. The fear that someone was always about to kill him gnawed at his nerves every moment of every day. If others discovered that he had already gone blind, he might be stripped of his status as the family's heir. In the end, all of this made Vincent fall not only in his eyes, but also in his heart, into a bottomless darkness. Once again, Paula was awakened by the noise the man was making. There was only a single wall between her room and her master's, so every night, she could hear the painful groans coming from the other side. That person had always been fighting against death, but no matter how terrifying the night was, the sun still rose as usual every day. She got herself ready and prepared to take care of her master. Every 10 days, the steward would report on work matters to Vincent. The little maid stood outside the door, quietly watching them. Though he was someone so full of fear, at this moment he seemed like a completely different person. Had he originally been like this? He looked composed, calm, and full of life. Suddenly, her gaze trembled slightly. The steward noticed her, and that look in his eyes, as though he were looking at a dead person, reminded her of the rumors in the Count's residence, and of what her master had once said to her. She had to pull herself together. If she did not want to die, she had to perform well. For her, reality itself was more terrifying than the muzzle of a gun. Once again, the little maid went to snatch away her master's bedsheet. As expected, he pulled out his gun again. Let go. But this time, it did not work. Then just shoot. If I keep letting you go on like this, sooner or later, even I'll die along with you. Rather than die miserably, I'd rather die by my master's gun. Come on, shoot already and put an end to all of this. Even Vincent was stunned. Have you gone mad? Not shooting? Then I'll continue. She violently yanked off the bedsheet. Having lost his sense of security, Vincent raised the gun again, but the little maid did not care at all. She gave a hard pull and flipped the man right over. The meal had already been prepared. Vincent sat up on the bed in fury. You're being this insolent because you really want to die by my hand? But the little maid looked completely unconcerned. You can't see anyway. Can you really hit me? Shooting happens to be my specialty. Paula scooped up a spoonful of rice gruel and deliberately exclaimed in an exaggerated tone, Wow, is that so? Master, open your mouth. Let me feed you. Vincent was so angry, he actually laughed. He kicked over the tray with one foot. Paula looked at the plate rolling across the floor. There had once been a time when, just to drink a mouthful of rice gruel, she had to endure a whole day of beatings, then beg in a low voice for it. Even after learning what the man had gone through, she still did not want to pity him. He was the master of this enormous estate, the one who had everything, as though blessed by fate. What right did she have to pity him? It seems you're very afraid of me. So afraid that you don't even dare drink a mouthful of rice gruel? What are you doing? Vincent sensed the little maid moving back and forth around him and immediately began to panic. He sternly demanded to know what she was doing, but the girl did not answer. Yet soon he found out. The girl shoved him down onto the bed in one move. She even sat directly on top of him to pin him down and stop him from getting up. The small maid held her master down with all her strength. The next second, she pried open his mouth, and just as he was about to bite down hard, something warm was stuffed into his mouth. The man who had been furious just moments ago fell silent instantly. What was this? Before he could react, a second spoonful was fed into his mouth. The girl's voice sounded by his ear. Food should be treasured properly. Only then did Vincent begin struggling desperately. He touched the girl's face and tried hard to push her away, but instead she grabbed his hair and slammed him back down. Did no one teach you this when you were little? Spoonful after spoonful. Paula fed the food into his mouth. Vincent finally exploded completely and shoved the little maid off the bed. The soup ran down from the corner of his mouth. Damn it, it had gone down the wrong way. He roared in fury. I'm dismissing you immediately. But Paula did not care in the slightest. I was only feeding my master. Do you even know what you're doing? I think you really do want to die. The girl's expression darkened. Did anyone see it? There are only two people here, me and master. She patted the dust off her skirt. How would anyone else know what I did to you? Vincent reached out and fumbled around. Are you looking for the gun? Once you get that, you'll be able to kill me, right? But, master, are there really bullets in that gun? In his panic, he accidentally knocked the gun onto the floor. The moment he lost his weapon, he began to feel real terror. Paula smiled and stepped back. I hope the next meal will be as pleasant as today's. When he heard there would actually be a next time, Vincent roared in anger. Didn't you hear me? You've already been dismissed. Say whatever you like. But recently, I heard a rumor that is very unfavorable to you. They say that finding you an attendant is harder than ascending to heaven.
But you needn't worry.
Until a replacement is found, I will remain by your side. If no one is ever found, then I will stay with you forever. So. Paula placed the gun she had picked up back into Vincent's hand and aimed the barrel at herself. From now on as well, please take good care of me, Master. Vincent's whole body went rigid, but Paula was glowing with excitement. She had finally won a round. In the days that followed, the two of them entered into a fierce tug-of-war. Back and forth they went, with neither willing to give in. Vincent still stubbornly overturned everything in front of him. Besides changing his clothes and feeding him, Paula was also desperately trying to drag him off to bathe. Vincent was like a cat with its fur standing on end, resisting like a madman. In the end, what was sacrificed was her nose. But the girl soon heard some good news. The head maid told her that as long as she did not injure her master's body, she could attend to him however she wanted. That meant she had passed the test. She had survived. The little maid silently encouraged herself. Holding a pillow, she walked into the room and challenged her master. Don't think I'll be easily defeated by you. You really need to take a bath today. The room was strangely quiet, and nothing was thrown at her. She cautiously poked her head forward. She saw her master lying on the bed, trembling all over. Paula immediately rushed over. The man's face was full of pain, like a fish stranded on the shore. Right, that thing. She hurriedly rummaged through her pocket and pulled out the inhaler. The doctor had given it to her precisely for situations like this. Master, breathe slowly. It's all right, I'm here. Vincent held the inhaler in his mouth and began little by little to steady his breathing by following Paula's voice. After who knew how long, he finally gradually returned to normal. Paula continued gently patting his back to soothe him. It's all right now. It's all right now. After being entangled with this little maid for so many days, Vincent had also gradually regained some vitality. He was no longer as lifeless as before, but his most miserable and wretched side had already been exposed completely before the girl. So he did not want to face her at all. Get out. Of course the girl was not going to leave. You need to eat. The man childishly wrapped himself up completely. What are you doing? You won't be able to breathe. I haven't even brought the food in yet, so relax a little first. She kept chattering on and on. The doctor said meals have to be eaten on time, and your body has to move too, otherwise you won't stay healthy. In the end, she let out a helpless sigh. Better do something else first. Hearing the steady, rhythmic sound of sweeping, Vincent quietly poked his head out from under the bedsheet. He relaxed and lay flat, and also began to grow curious about this girl who threw herself energetically into everything she did. Why did you come here? The little maid froze for a moment. This was the first time her master had ever spoken to her of his own accord. She was so surprised that for a moment, she could not answer. The man's tone immediately turned nasty again. I asked you, why did you come here? To earn money. Then if I give you money, can you leave? So force had failed, and now he was trying persuasion. Even if you drive me away, another maid will still be sent here. I'll drive them all away. Then there will probably still be more sent here. What? So you're saying you won't leave? Before you came here, where did you live? I used to live back home in Filton. That's a very far away place, isn't it? Not really. You just cross a mountain, and you're there. More importantly, the whole journey here was truly magical. Paula had never left her village before. To her, the outside world was practically like a fairy tale. Vincent let out a scornful laugh. What kind of foolish dream talk is that? This is not a place for your daydreams. I know that too. Reality is not the same as a fairy tale, so I only dreamed for a little while. You certainly do have a vivid imagination. Do you really have to say everything so harshly? As far as I'm concerned, things like fairy tales, even just reading them feels like dreaming. When I was little, I briefly worked in a bookstore. Thanks to the owner's kindness, I was able to read a little. There's a passage I still remember even now. God created you. Your very existence is a blessing. So love without reservation. Everything in this world will become the road that carries you forward. Vincent supplied the title of the book, The Sorrow of Love. You've read it too? It's a book even children have read. Your taste really is terrible. It's obviously a tragedy. Paula knew that its ending truly was sad, but she did not dislike it. Enough about me first, Master. Do you have any books you like? I don't read that sort of thing. Besides, he could not see it all now. Then you could have someone read to you. Vincent showed a look of disgust. Are you trying to let everyone know that I'm blind? He clearly knew that was not what she meant. Paula quickly made up her mind. She was going to read books to her master. Of course, it was only under her half-coercive insistence that he reluctantly agreed. The little maid cleared her throat.
And read out the first line. Boring.
Change it. But I've only just read one line. I already don't like that one line. Helplessly, she took out the second book. Change it. The third book. Change. The fourth book. It's quite impressive that you managed to bring so many boring books. The little maid finally got angry. Do you have to be like this? Boring is boring. Is it wrong for me to tell the truth? By what standard are you even saying that? Vincent's expression instantly turned cold. You're only a maid. Are you talking back to me? How despicable. He was actually using his status to suppress her. Then tell me what kind you like. Whatever. Her patience was on the verge of snapping. Seeing that the little maid had suddenly fallen silent, he started urging her again. What are you standing there for? Go get it. What a childish brat. This day felt as though she had delivered herself to suffering. Paula rubbed her eyes. Just as she was about to drift off to sleep, she was startled awake again by the sound of a crash. The sound came from the room next door. She immediately ran over. Are you feeling unwell anywhere? He had had a long and terrifying dream. The little maid looked at the trembling man and slowly reached out her hand. It's all right. It was only a dream. Go back to sleep. I don't think I can fall asleep anymore. Then I'll stay with you until you calm down. Seeing that her master was gradually calming down, the little maid was just about to leave when her blind master suddenly grabbed her hand. Where are you going? Back to my room.
Why?
Didn't you say you would stay with me until I calmed down? I think you've already calmed down quite enough. But the man continued talking as if to himself. It would be nice if someone could stay by my side all the time. I just feel so uneasy. So afraid. Paula thought to herself that this man was definitely doing it on purpose. The next second, his tone softened. Stay here until I fall asleep. Paula was not good at refusing other people's requests, so she could only sit down helplessly. Vincent lowered his eyes, and with their hands clasped together, drowsiness slowly came over him. The next day, the little maid yawned as she spoke. What a miserable night it had been. But she still had to pull herself together, because today she still had to continue reading to her master. She brought over even more books than yesterday. Vincent was woken by the sound of her reading. You really are absurdly persistent. Of course, isn't this exactly my reason for serving you, master? This time, please listen properly. And yet she actually began reading a children's fairy tale, and her voice was especially loud. The prickly cat instantly became alert. What are you doing? Reading. What else? Isn't that a fairy tale book? Yes, because I think fairy tales suit the present master best. For a master like you, who is sensitive and mean-spirited, a fairy tale that can calm your heart is practically perfect. After saying that, she anxiously waited for him to throw something at her. Unexpectedly, he only let out a low sigh. Fine, keep going. Paula froze completely. What? Are you deaf? I said keep reading. She had only just read one sentence when she was interrupted again. Stop, too fast. I can't keep up. Then he stopped her again. Your pronunciation is off. Read it again. Pronounce every word properly one by one. You have to make the listener able to picture the scene in their mind, and they also have to be able to understand it. Is this really the best you can do? The little maid felt like she was about to fall apart. Was reading to someone really this difficult? The mean-spirited cat kept making more and more demands. Start over from the previous chapter. Paula's expression turned resolute. There was no way she was going to lose, all right. And so, several days passed, and the number of books the little maid had read to her master kept increasing. Vincent also no longer lost his temper the way he used to. Every day, aside from reading, she spent her time wondering what kind of new books she should find for her master. When Paula lifted her head, she saw herself in the mirror. In the past, her face had always been covered with large bruises that never faded away. But now, when she brushed up her bangs, what showed was a clean forehead. Even her steps as she walked away were light. Paula, the head maid, stopped her. She assigned her a new task, organizing her master's letters. Most of them were letters of greeting and invitations. Violet, there was one letter with no surname, only a first name. The head maid reached out and pulled that letter away. This person's letters are to be kept separately. There is no need to pass them on to master. As she continued sorting through the remaining letters, she saw one written in gold script. The head maid clearly recognized the handwriting. I need to add one more task for you. Reply to this letter. Keep it simple. Write anything.
Paula was stunned.
Among nobles, could letters really be handled so casually? Still, she carefully carried that letter to the desk. She began trying to write her very first reply, and Paula never imagined that she was not far from meeting the owner of that letter. Just after finally dealing with one difficult master, the little maid found herself targeted by a newly arrived guest as well. The man was witty, humorous, and impeccably polite, but he was especially fond of trailing after her everywhere. Paula bit into a boiled potato. If he startled her one more time, she was going to get indigestion. How is Vincent? He looked rather angry to me. He's not especially angry, but isn't he still throwing things? That's just how he always is. Then isn't that dangerous? No matter how she answered, it was a deadly question. So the little maid chose to keep chewing her potato. Miss Maid, do you also know about Vincent's condition now? Paula nearly choked again, but she was only a maid. Why did he keep pressing her with these questions? Lately, there have been rumors spreading outside about the Count's residence, saying that the master here has such a terrible temper that no servants can stay. She had actually heard those rumors too. Seeing the little maid nod, Ethan burst out laughing. It seems Vincent hasn't spared you much bullying, miss. No. Master is very kind to me, but just now you clearly said He often throws things. Once again, the little maid witnessed Ethan's deviousness. Vincent is stubborn, isn't he? Once he has decided on something, no one can change his mind, and the moment someone goes against his wishes, he immediately shows his dislike all over his face, frowning and pulling a long face. In her heart, Paula frantically repeated, "Don't respond. Don't take the bait. It's a trap, a trap." What do commoners usually call that again, bullheaded? Or something like that? Yet she still failed to hold back and answered, "We call it a bad temper, like an ox." Right, that's exactly it. It suits him perfectly, doesn't it? But not long ago, he was clearly still fine. A few months ago, Vincent suddenly stopped replying to letters. He would not meet any of the people sent to him either. I was too worried, so I came in person. Will he get better? You don't need to worry too much. Master is trying as well. When your whole world suddenly turns into darkness, how terrifying must that be? But a young lord like you, who has never personally gone through such a thing, cannot understand that pain. So please wait a little longer. Sometimes, in order for Master to find his own way out, silence is more useful than anything else. You really are unusual. Should I say you have a calm and decisive side? And you're gentler than I expected too. But we can't keep waiting like this forever, because there is something I absolutely must tell him. Can I borrow your help, Miss Maid?
No.
I'm the person here with the least power. Then if I knock on the door 100 times, will Vincent open it? Ethan had clearly already decided to try in person. If Miss Maid were to fall for me, this might become much easier.
No.
I refuse. At once, Ethan burst out laughing again. The maid Renica was one of the few people Paula got to see every day. She would bring things over from the main house, and along the way she would also bring bits and pieces of small news. I heard that young Master Ethan has arrived, the second young master of the Christopher family, not only handsome, but also kind and courteous to everyone. So everyone liked him. I'm so envious of you, Paula. If only I could say even a word to him. But he's in a room in the annex. If you want to see him, you can anytime. No, we can't enter the annex. Only designated servants were allowed into the annex, and even the times and areas were strictly defined. If anyone stepped inside without permission, they really could lose their head. Paula froze. No wonder there was not a soul to be seen here. It seemed that his relationship with Master really was extraordinary. Ethan also began to grow anxious. He leaned against Vincent's door. The little maid let out a soft sigh. Surely you're not planning to stay here all night? Is it already morning so soon? I thought if I knocked all night, he would get so annoyed that he'd open the door. It seems I was mistaken. He said Vincent was stubborn, but in truth, he was no less so himself. Paula searched through her pocket and took out a key. Shall I help you open it? Didn't you say yesterday that you couldn't? I'm only opening the door to change the bedding. If young Master Ethan takes the opportunity to rush in, that's his own doing. Will Vincent believe that so easily? Even if he doesn't, he'll only dislike me more. He didn't like me in the first place anyway. Ethan shook his head. Forget it. I'd feel guilty about that. I'll keep trying on my own. In that case, I'm going in to change the bedding, so please don't follow me in. All right, Miss Maid. Paula inserted the key into the lock. The moment the door opened, she immediately sensed that something was wrong. There was no sign of her master on the bed. When she walked closer, she discovered Vincent collapsed on the floor in pain. Paula never would have imagined that her master had merely drunk a few extra mouthfuls of soup and ended up with such indigestion that he vomited. With an appetite no bigger than a chick pecking at grain, he could still eat himself sick. He was far too frail. Before leaving, the doctor kept reminding her to be even more careful in looking after him. Fortunately, though, Ethan was able to see Vincent because of this. His eyes were full of heartache. How have you become this thin? You're even thinner than the last time I saw you. You should at least take some care of your own body. But unlike Ethan, Vincent only coldly told him to go back. Don't be like this. Try to step outside. I'll help you. How are you going to help me? Whatever it is, as long as it's something I can do, I'll do it for you. Vincent let out a cold sneer. Then can you make my eyes see again? If you can't, then stop talking nonsense. How long are you going to keep this up? There are already many rumors outside that are harmful to you. They're saying that you're not recuperating from an injury at the banquet, but hiding yourself away because your body has some fatal problem. No one can live like this forever. So, what do you want? It's time to make it public. Are you trying to force me to my death? If everyone learns that Count Belunita has gone blind, then the next ones to come won't merely be assassins, but the true culprit who did this to me, personally coming with a knife to stab me. The person who did this to you probably already knows your condition now. If you insist on continuing like this, then I will make your situation public. Have you lost your mind? Maybe. Vincent, you are my most important friend. I don't want to watch you go on like this forever. And this was never something that could be hidden for all time. We have to prepare for the future. You know that too, don't you? No matter what, I am going to drag you out of here. Vincent growled in resistance. Stop talking such madness. Ethan's tone also turned cold. Whether I'm talking madness or not, we'll see soon enough. You decide. Are you going to do as I say or not? Even after saying such harsh things, he still cared for Vincent, as he always did. Paula looked at the atmosphere caught between the two of them and felt only a wave of irritation. If you want to know, why don't you go see for yourself? Ethan still kept that perfectly polite manner of his. If Miss Maid is willing to tell me, I would be extremely grateful. He gave Vincent an ultimatum. He would give him 2 more days. He had to leave the room by then. If you were that worried about him, you shouldn't have threatened him like that in the first place. Did that sound like a threat? Forcing someone to do something they don't want to do. Isn't that exactly a threat? You're right, it is a threat. Inwardly, the little maid scorned him as a nasty piece of work, yet it was as if he could read minds. I'm not a bad person. I hate seeing Vincent continue ruining himself like this even more than you do. Even before we became friends, our family's interests had already bound us together. So I hope, Miss Maid, that you can coax him properly and get him to come out of the room. I already told you I don't have that kind of ability, but I think you clearly do. You flatter me. After Paula finished cleaning the room, she left carrying a bucket, and Ethan followed after her again. And this time, he was not even trying to hide it. He looked curious. What are you doing here? I'm picking out a new book to read to Master. You mean you've been reading to Vincent? And he actually sits there and listens obediently? Of course he refused at first, but now he listens quite obediently. Most of what I read before were fairy tales. This time, I want to choose something a little thicker. Ethan's body suddenly began shaking violently. He covered his mouth, desperately holding back his laughter. With his pride, he's actually willing to listen to you read fairy tales? That's unbelievable. In the end, his laughter still echoed through the library. Meanwhile, Vincent was still waiting for the little maid to come and continue reading to him. Where exactly was that laughter coming from, and why did it sound so infuriating? The reason Vincent had been avoiding Ethan all along was that the source of all this pointed toward the Christopher family, and Ethan knew nothing about it. He had only grown suspicious, which was why he wanted to come ask in person. But probably because Vincent was in such a terrible state, in the end he still could not bring himself to ask. After saying everything, Vincent once again ordered him to leave. Paula, the reason some things are called secrets is because they cannot be known by others, and you should leave now as well. The little maid understood that this was her master reminding her not to keep prying into his affairs. She had to let all of this rot inside her stomach if she wanted to keep her life. From that day on, her master never brought up that conversation again. She still went every day to wake him on time, and he still put up those utterly pointless acts of resistance. You sweated a lot last night, so you should take a bath first. After learning that force would not work, this cat had already learned to tell her to get out very politely. But after a fierce struggle, it still ended in Vincent's defeat. He waved impatiently at the little maid. I'll take care of it myself. Get out. Can you really manage? He gave a low response, then began taking off his shirt. During this period, Master had clearly put on some weight. The wounds on his body were also almost no longer visible. The little maid could not help sighing that her efforts had indeed paid off. Noticing that she still had not left, the irritable cat spoke again to drive her out. Although Paula stepped out, she still could not fully let it go. Only when she pressed herself to the crack of the door and heard the splashing sound of water inside did she finally relax. Master really had changed. He had started eating properly. The head cook held the emptied plates and was so moved he was nearly in tears. Even the head maid, who was always strict, praised her for doing well, thanks to this cat, who had finally become docile. Her days lately had been quite leisurely. The weather was lovely, so lovely that it felt like a waste not to go outside. She remembered the letter written in golden script, and a new idea came to her. She was going to take Master into the courtyard for tea. The cat's face immediately darkened. What nonsense are you talking about? I heard that going outside for some fresh air once in a while is good for your health too. But Vincent still stubbornly refused to yield. I can't let other people see me. It's all right. I've already arranged the place in a corner where no one ever comes. Then how am I supposed to get there? Of course, I'll carry you there on my back. Before long, however, both of them began regretting it. The little maid trembled as she supported herself, dragging along a man a full head taller than she was. Vincent had already started trying to back out. Let's just go back. The moment he said that, he was set down in a chair. Panting heavily, the little maid told him that they had arrived. Where is this? The courtyard behind the annex. For some reason, although hardly anyone ever comes here, there has always been a table left sitting here unused. I've already cleaned this place up. Vincent's expression paused slightly. It was as if he had fallen into some memory. The corners of his mouth even lifted unconsciously. The wind blew over, carrying the scent of grass and air. Paula gently placed a teacup into his hand. It was a fragrance he liked. Today, I plan to read to you here. He did not sound very interested. Another boring novel, I suppose. No. It's an adventure story. She had originally wanted to say it was recommended by young Master Ethan, but thinking of the relationship between the two of them, she quickly swallowed the words back. I heard you would like it. The little maid cleared her throat, and just like that, a story of adventure slowly unfolded from her lips. Vincent had not felt such peace in a very long time. He suddenly found himself growing curious about the girl before him. After hesitating for a long time, he finally asked that question. What do you look like? The little maid froze at once. The person sitting across from her clearly could not see, yet it felt as though he truly was looking at her. In those eyes, it was as if her reflection was even there. And yet at precisely that moment, a strong sense of inferiority welled up in Paula's heart. She lowered her head. Why are you curious about something like that? Because I want to know what someone as shameless as you looks like. She came up with a very clumsy excuse, wanting to get away. I still have to finish reading the book. But in the very next second, Vincent suddenly reached out a hand toward her. Just as his fingertips were about to touch her face, Paula abruptly stood up, her face full of panic. Flustered, she explained that she had only been startled because her face had suddenly almost been touched. But Vincent only found it strange. What is there to be startled about? I just wanted to know what you look like. Why do you have to touch my face? The sensation from that brief moment seemed to linger at his fingertips. Because I can't see, so I can only confirm it by touch. I'll ask again. What exactly do you look like? The girl lowered her eyes. Very ordinary. Then what exactly is that supposed to mean? The more you hide it, the more it makes people want to know. I'm a little short. That much I already knew. What else? Does your hair reach your chest? Or has it already grown past that?
No.
I cut it a little shorter not long ago. Is your hair curly? Somehow I feel like it's both a little straight and a little wavy. The little maid answered softly, more on the curly side. This time, under Paula's gaze, he raised his hand again. He gently touched the girl's cheek. Then, following the loose strands beside her ear, he slowly felt his way to the ends of her hair. The cat smiled lightly. It really is, your hair curls at the ends. What else? The distance was far too close, and together with that unfairly beautiful face, every nerve in her body was drawn almost painfully tight. She had to use a great deal of effort just to stop herself from fleeing. What exactly are you so curious about? Everything. Be more specific. Put together all the fragments I can imagine for me. She was shorter than others her age, and frielier too. Her hair was rough and yellowish like dried grass. Her skin always carried the bruised blue-purple marks left by her father's beatings. The corners of her eyes looked almost split, making her appear fierce. Her nose was small and covered with freckles. Shorty, ugly freak. For a time, this was how boys her own age used to call her. Completely opposite to her. Her third sister, Lisa, had been a beautiful child since she was young. Even in Paula's eyes, she truly had been lovely. Everyone liked that girl. Even if her personality was terrible, people only praised her for being charming. At the same time, they were belittling Paula. Even that demon-like father favored Elisa, especially. But she was like an expensive commodity that had long since been given a price. One day, she would have to pay for that beautiful face. She, who was excessively beautiful, and Paula herself, who was unbearably ugly. Yet after Paula answered her master's questions, the unease in her heart only grew stronger. If Vincent learned what she really looked like, would he also despise her for being ugly? Honestly, from the sound of it, you ought to be a beauty, though I can't quite picture it. This kind of reaction from her master was the normal one, because what she had just described was not herself at all, but Elise's appearance. The little maid continued speaking against her conscience. I hear that often too. Yet she nearly covered her face in pain. She no longer wanted to be hurt again. Vincent sounded puzzled. But didn't you just say a moment ago that you looked very ordinary? That was only out of politeness. In her heart, she desperately comforted herself that a lie of this degree should be all right. If in her whole life there could be even one person, she wanted that person to remember her as beautiful, then you should be easy to find. Really? Everything she had told him was false. How could she possibly be easy to find? All I'd have to do is say, bring me the smallest person here. Paula froze at once. Then she raised her head in protest. I'm not that small. No, you're very small. That's only because you're too tall, master. So small you'd make a perfect walking stick. She insisted guiltily. I told you, I'm not small. At last, Vincent brought this childish argument to an end. He suddenly laughed. The smile came from the bottom of his heart, yet it stirred a faint, indescribable ache in Paula's chest. The wind blew past, rustling the pages of the book. Thinking of the utterly pointless conversation they had just had, she could not help laughing too. You really are awful. If you start feeling cold, tell me. The wind is a bit chilly now. Vincent said he was not cold and set down his teacup. I want to walk a little. It was rare for him to take the initiative to say he wanted to move around. Then shall we go for a walk? The little maid happily took hold of her master. She led him forward step by step, slowly, and every now and then turned back to check how he was doing. If you'd like, we can come out like this often from now on. Better not. Why? If we run into someone, it'll be troublesome. There's no one nearby right now. If someone really does come, I'll tell you immediately. But the cat suddenly changed what he was saying. There probably won't be. Few people come here normally. When we were children, Ethan, Violet, and I used to come here often. The little maid's steps paused for a moment, but she did not turn back. Actually, I was curious about this last time too. That person called Violet. Who is she? Vincent fell silent for a moment. Then, he quickly caught up to the little maid, lowered his head slightly, and said to her, she is my fiancée. The moment the little maid heard Vincent say he had a fiancé, the word shock was practically written all over her face. Then again, at her master's age, it would have been stranger if he did not have a betrothed. In less than 3 seconds, her mind had already started imagining the two of them together. So they were in love. That was why she kept writing letters to him. It seems that young lady truly loves you very much, master. A vein twitched at Vincent's temple. Though I have no idea what exactly you've been fantasizing about, it's nothing like that. So, if she comes to see me, send her back. Why would you treat your fiancé like that? Because she still doesn't know that I've gone blind. If she learned that her fiancé had become blind, she would probably ask to break off the engagement. Unlike what you imagine, we were not engaged because we loved each other. It was only because of the interest between our families. Once the engagement is broken, there will be corresponding losses. Their decision to conceal it from the outside is also only to reduce as much as possible the losses brought by negative rumors. So the world among nobles was this complicated. The little maid nodded half understandingly. I'll remember that. Vincent spoke again. And besides, you don't need to go this far. What do you mean? I mean, you don't need to put in so much effort to comfort me because of those things you said last time. She had not expected her thoughts to be seen through so easily. At once she stammered and turned her head aside, refusing to admit it. Vincent let out a soft sigh. Do you still want to keep walking? The wind suddenly grew stronger, and like a mischievous child, it swept away the cloth hanging on the basket in one gust. The little maid hurriedly shouted, "Wait a moment, master," and ran after it. She had thought she would be able to retrieve it after just a few steps, but the cloth was carried by the wind for dozens of meters, until at last, fortunately, it caught on a tree. Breathing hard, she was just about to reach out and take it when someone beat her to it. A man with light brown hair slowly stepped out from behind the tree. There was a faint smile at the corners of his eyes as he quietly looked at Paula. Then he placed the tablecloth into her hands. So beautiful. The little maid froze at once. It was strange. Although this was clearly her first time seeing this person, she somehow felt that she had seen those eyes somewhere before. The wind blew again like a prank, lifting the bangs that covered her forehead. Those unpleasant memories instantly surged back into her mind. She covered her face in panic and immediately began apologizing. The man looked somewhat puzzled. "What's wrong?" The little maid's voice came out brokenly through her fingers. "Because my face is too ugly." Someone had once said that looking like this was itself a kind of sin, but it was not as if she had chosen to be this way. "No. You are very beautiful." Hearing those unexpected words, Paula widened her eyes in disbelief. Hesitantly, she slowly moved the hand covering her face away. He was still keeping the same posture as before, waiting for her with a smile, with neither the mockery she had expected to see, nor even the slightest trace of disgust. This was the first time Paula had ever heard words like that from someone else, and just then, her master's voice came from afar. "Sorry, I have to go." She hurriedly thanked the man and took the tablecloth. But at the very moment she turned to leave, she suddenly felt something else tucked inside the cloth. It was a note written in golden script. "Do you want to go traveling?" Paula abruptly turned around, but that figure had already disappeared. If she were not still clutching that note in her hand, she might even have thought that everything just now had only been a dream. Filled with confusion, she returned to her master's side. "I'm sorry I came back late, because there was someone over there." Before she could finish speaking, Vincent grabbed her roughly. "Don't do this again." Only then did she suddenly realize that something was wrong with her master. His voice was full of fear. Even though the weather was cool, his forehead was already covered in sweat. As if desperately trying to confirm something, Vincent reached out and pressed his hand to the little maid's face, feeling around little by little. Then he lowered his head, touched her hand, and said in a voice almost pleading, "Don't leave me alone again." She did not know whose heartbeat it was that pounded against her eardrums. It struck again and again, fast and heavy, shockingly clear. Filled with guilt, she could only keep apologizing, and the hand with which her master held hers was burning hot. And so Vincent leaned against her and stood there for a very, very long time, so long that even the once bright sky gradually darkened. Only then did he finally speak again. "Let's go back. I'm a little tired." The moment they stepped into the mansion, the head maid came up to them with a face full of alarm. Paula softly reminded her master that it was Lady Isabella. His expression instantly turned cold. "What is it?" The head maid's gaze flickered. "Well," a hurried voice interrupted them. In the distance stood their old acquaintance Ethan, along with a strikingly beautiful young woman. Vincent. Tears shimmered in the girl's star-like eyes as she called Vincent's name, but her master only tightened his grip on her hand. In a voice only she could hear, he said, "It's Violet." The little maid froze abruptly. Ethan also looked thoroughly guilty. Awkwardly, he waved at Paula, but the young woman had eyes only for her fiancé, and she choked back tears as she walked toward Vincent. I've really missed you." Ethan quickly stepped in front of her. Violet calmed down first. At that moment, Paula also noticed something strange about her master. His grip on her hand was growing tighter and tighter, and it was trembling slightly. This couldn't go on. The little maid took a deep breath. "Run, master." She pulled Vincent and ran in the opposite direction, leaving everyone stunned, able only to watch helplessly as the two of them fled. But what had to be faced could not be avoided forever. After Paula brought her master back, she returned to the reception room. The elegant young woman was as beautiful as a painting. She was practically like a person carefully made of sugar, as if you could smell sweetness just by coming near her. So beautiful. Without realizing it, she had spoken her thoughts aloud. "I'm sorry." She hurried forward and set down the pastries. Violet took the initiative to speak to her. "Are you the new maid who came this time?" Paula introduced herself. "Please forgive my rudeness in the hall just now." "It's all right, it's not your fault. I was just too anxious and wanted to see Vincent sooner. Ethan talks about you a lot." "Sure enough, you're just as I heard, a very kind person." The little maid's heart was struck in an instant. Not only was she beautiful, her personality was this lovely too. Violet gently patted the seat beside her, inviting her to sit. Ethan joined in at once. Why not sit next to me instead? The little maid gave Ethan a look of utter disdain. The head maid suddenly spoke. Sit down. Only then did she sit, while Ethan still wore his usual frivolous expression. I'm very happy to see you again. I'm not happy at all. It turned out that Violet had come this time to ask about Vincent's physical condition. Ethan lowered his voice and told Paula, Violet has always thought Vincent was recovering from injuries. She doesn't know he's gone blind. Then young Master Christopher. What is your relationship with that lady?
Friends.
The three of us have known each other since childhood. Violet once again expressed her wish to see Vincent, but the head maid politely refused. Master does not want you to see him in such a miserable state. Violet clenched her fist. I know all of that, but she suddenly turned and pleaded with Paula instead. Paula, I beg you sincerely. Please tell him that I really want to see him. It doesn't matter what he has become. Please let me see his face. Caught between both sides, the little maid cast a pleading glance at the others, but the head maid merely sipped her tea. Ethan picked up a biscuit, and everyone left her to fend for herself. In the end, she had no choice but to return to her master's room, where Vincent had buried himself in the bed linens again. Miss Violet asked me to pass on a message to you, so I'll repeat her exact words. Imitating the girl's tone and forcing herself through the embarrassment, she repeated the whole message word for word. This was unbearable enough, and Ethan had even followed along to watch the spectacle. Hi, Vincent. He had only just poked his head in before being shut down instantly. Vincent sat up on the bed, and anyone could tell he was in a terrible mood. Get out. Don't be angry. I couldn't help it either. Didn't you say that if I wrote back to her, she wouldn't come? That's what I thought too at first, but you know what she's like. We already tried our best to persuade her. But once she gets stubborn, she has to do something. Seeing his friend raise his cup, Ethan immediately lost his nerve, hid behind Paula, and even deliberately raised his voice to remind him, the little maid is still here. Vincent had not thrown things at Paula for a long time. Oh, but Miss Maid really looked so cool in the hall just now. Watching you run off hand in hand with him was honestly moving. Unable to shake him off, Paula could only protest. Please don't do this. What's wrong? You really did look cool, Miss Maid. Ethan's frivolous tone, combined with the little maid's struggling voice, made the blind Vincent form strange mental images, especially since Ethan kept adding fuel to the fire without restraint. I really almost fell for you just now. That sentence completely ignited Vincent's anger. Enough. No one to stop. After all Ethan's reckless antics, Vincent was finally enraged beyond endurance. Paula had no choice but to quickly change the subject. Miss Violet said she'll be waiting for you in the garden tomorrow morning. I'm not going. Send her back. She probably won't leave obediently. It seemed she only came after making a very firm decision. Vincent clenched his fist again. Get out. Paula had no choice but to shove this troublemaker out of the room. What should she do now? First, she had to calm Violet down. Didn't you say she came only after making a very firm decision? Ethan guiltily looked away. The truth was, he had already run out of ideas too. Early in the morning, the two of them saw her in front of the flower field. Violet, the girl's smile was brighter than the flowers, but the person she was waiting for was her own fiancé. Ethan shook his head. He said, he doesn't want to meet. I see. The disappointment in the girl's voice was impossible to hide. I'm sorry. I've tried to persuade him many times already. It's all right. I was the one being too willful. She noticed the flowers in the girl's hands. Violet smiled shyly. I had wanted to make a bouquet for Vincent with my own hands, but I'm really so clumsy that even if I gave it to him, he probably wouldn't be happy. As an onlooker, seeing her like this made Paula feel awful. Let me help you. Very soon, she helped Violet tie up a bouquet. How do you make it look this pretty? You flatter me. Fortunately, she had once sold flowers as a side job before. I'm so envious of you. My skills are so bad that even my tutor gave up on me. Ethan immediately tore her down. That's normal, since you're that kind of pampered young lady to begin with. A muffled grunt. The man dropped to one knee on the spot, but when facing the little maid, Violet immediately put on a delicate, pitiful expression again. Maybe Vincent sees so many faults in me that he doesn't want to see me, because I'm not someone worthy of trust. Though she said that, her tightly clenched fists only made the little maid feel that she genuinely wanted to beat her master to death. Paula stared blankly as petals fluttered down. Clearly Ethan was already used to it. Violet, there are other people here. Oh dear, sorry for letting you see me like this. I even ruined the bouquet. I'm sorry, can you help me make another one? Of course. She began choosing flowers again. Paula, how old are you this year? 18. The same age as me. I've always wanted to spend time like this with girls my own age, and I'm really so happy. The little maid truly had no idea how to deal with this kind of enthusiastic person and blushed bright red in panic. Soon, the bouquet was finished again. Violet happily took it. Could I ask you to pass this bouquet to him for me? Yes, but that bouquet is a bit too big. Thinking that, she took off her hair tie and began tying the bouquet again. Do you not need me to pass along the one in your hand as well? This one. Violet held the flowers out in front of her. This is for you, Paula. It's only a small token, but I still wanted to thank you for helping me make such a beautiful bouquet. Violet held the flowers out a little farther. Don't be shy. Go ahead and take them. Although she had sold many bouquets, this was the first time she had ever received flowers herself. Miss Maid, This is my gift to you. Ethan plopped a bouquet directly onto her face. Violet cried out, Ethan, your bouquet is way too big, while Ethan burst out laughing. A warm current seemed to rise in Paula's heart, so warm it almost burned. But the person who most deserved to feel that warmth was not her. If only Master could come out too. One poorly timed remark interrupted the cheerful mood. I'm sorry, I said something I shouldn't have. Violet suddenly became agitated. Paula, what do you think? Do even you think I should go back and leave Vincent here alone? Ethan quickly stopped her. Violet, don't be like this. But she seemed to cling to her last lifeline. Please tell me the truth, because the person who can get close to him now is you. Paula, her heart softened. I still hope Master can meet Miss Violet. After receiving that affirmative answer, the girl visibly brightened. Thank you, Paula. I've decided that until I see Vincent, I absolutely will not go back. This time, she had really caused trouble, and blind Vincent could not feel any warmth from the flowers at all. After hearing Violet's decision, all he felt was anger, and he even lost control of his emotions once again. Ethan, however, felt it was no big deal at all. Why don't you just meet her once? Do you want to listen to what you're actually saying first? It's not like you've never done this before. Just act the same as you used to. When was that? He was referring to the time before Vincent was attacked. Back then, his eyes could at least still barely make out outlines, unlike now. Ethan began provoking him on purpose. You could handle people more difficult than Violet, and now you're afraid instead? In the end, the result of this cat and dog battle was the dog's victory. The key is the direction of your gaze. You have to make people feel that you're looking at her. Master, judging by how accurate your aim is when you throw things, your sense of direction is really strong. I'm sure you can do it. Ethan held back laughter that was almost about to burst out. I'll have Violet sit directly in front of you. For now, you just need to practice making eye contact with Miss Maid. Vincent looked thoroughly displeased. Where exactly do you want me to look?
A little higher.
No, that's not right. A little lower. No matter how they adjusted, the two of them could not line up their gazes, so the little maid had no choice but to step in and personally guide her master to look toward her.
Please look this way.
Through practice, the problem of eye contact was finally solved. Next came the conversation. Vincent, your movements are way too stiff. Either cross your legs or lean back against the chair. He lifted one leg. What am I supposed to say? Anything is fine. Why not start with Miss Maid?
Come.
If you were Violet, after not seeing Vincent for so long, what would you say to him? Paula looked troubled. She tried imitating Violet and questioning him about why he had refused to see her all this time. Vincent rolled his eyes. Violet wouldn't talk like that. Ethan immediately piled on. Miss Maid really isn't very good at acting. She then tried to imitate Violet acting spoiled and complaining to Vincent. But what she got in return was only her master's merciless sharp tongue. That's disgusting. You were better off speaking stiffly. Even if it's disgusting, just endure it for a moment. She cleared her throat and simply switched to her own way of speaking. Do you know how worried I've been about you during this time? Vincent leaned naturally against the sofa. I'm sorry. I haven't had much energy lately, and dangerous things have kept happening around me. And I was also worried about dragging you down and involving you in danger. Then write me more letters. I'll keep waiting for you. As Vincent answered, he looked toward her. I didn't realize I had made you worry this much.
I'm sorry.
It is absolutely not because I dislike you that I refuse to see you. His gaze also became much more natural. Paula said happily, if that's the case, then that's wonderful. But the words that followed suddenly stuck in her throat. They were hard to say, and yet she had to say them. She lowered her head, took a light breath, and haltingly said, I missed you. Vincent froze for a moment. Really? The little maid slowly opened her eyes, and the blurry scene before her gradually became clear. He seemed to be smiling. Vincent raised both hands to support his chin, smiling with a sly look on his face. Thank you. The little maid was struck hard once again, but very soon, she lowered her head again, because the person who truly ought to be looking at that face was not her. And yet her heartbeat simply would not calm down. It was like she had accidentally caught a glimpse of some terrible secret. Miss Maid. It was not until Ethan called out to her that she finally came back to herself. Getting to this point is already very good. The most important thing is that the conversation must be short. Once it drags on too long, it becomes easy for people to notice something is wrong. Violet would absolutely never be the one to end the conversation, so use being tired as the reason to leave first. Now all that's left is the exit. Vincent stood up. I can practice that. Ethan looked at Paula. Miss Maid's help is needed for this part too. Paula stepped forward, preparing to support her master and guide him. But the instant she took hold of his hand, that thank you Vincent had said just now echoed in her ears again. Her face instantly grew hot, but in truth, he had clearly not said anything else at all, so how could she have had such an illusion? Vincent keenly noticed that Paula seemed somewhat unwilling to hold his hand. He caught hold of the little maid, stopped where he was, and stubbornly said, What's wrong with you? Don't be so perfunctory with me. If I fall, you have to be able to catch me.
There was no way she could catch his tall frame.
And Vincent's grip on her hand only kept growing tighter. She could not even pull it free. The little maid herself did not understand why things had become like this. She only felt a strange itch in her heart. And Ethan, standing in the distance, seemed to notice something. Though his friend had an arrogant personality, he just happened to have a beautiful face that no one could resist. So when Ethan noticed that Paula blushed because of Vincent's smile, he decided to cut through the mess quickly. "Thank you for your hard work, Miss Maid. May I ask you a question? Did you deliberately keep your bangs like that?" "What? I mean, did you deliberately use your bangs to cover your face? But even so, you still can't hide how red your face is." There was faint malice in his tone. "Vincent's face really is handsome, isn't it?" Before Paula could answer, he walked forward.
Ah,
"Vincent, watch out in front." It turned out Ethan had known from the very beginning why she used her bangs to cover her face. Early the next morning, Violet happily told her that Vincent had agreed to meet her. "I'm so happy, and so nervous too. How do I look? Do I look all right now?" In Paula's eyes, Violet was naturally flawless in her beauty, but the sudden heavy rain fell again, like a curse. Very soon, it was time to test the results. Vincent was in very good condition. His blue eyes moved lightly with the sound of voices, and it was impossible to tell that he was already blind. The moment Violet saw him, she excitedly tried to rush over. Ethan stepped in front of her in time. "Come, Violet, sit down first." The two of them exchanged natural greetings. Ethan shot Paula a look, signaling her to cooperate properly. Ever since Vincent had been poisoned, they had never seen each other again. Violet, who knew nothing of her fiancé's current condition, truly had too many questions she wanted to ask. Ethan had to step in once more to smooth things over, and only then did Vincent get an opening to speak. "Yes, ask them one by one. I'll answer them all." Following what they had practiced before, he began answering her questions one by one. Aside from being unable to tell her that he was blind, Vincent had not actually lied to Violet about the other matters. "It's all right. I understand everything, and thank goodness you're safe. And thank you for being willing to see me. I had thought you disliked me. How could that be?" Violet's voice gradually softened. "I understand. I know too. I just missed you so much." This was something Paula had guessed Violet might say during practice. Unlike how she had stumbled over the words and struggled so hard to say them at the time, Violet said them frankly and passionately. As expected, the heroine really was different. Surely next, Master would say that "thank you," and then show that smile carrying a touch of mischief, yet hiding tender affection. But when she looked toward Vincent, she froze at once. Her master was still wearing the same expression as at the beginning, only answering mechanically, "I will definitely write back to you next time." "Oh, right. Vincent, the flowers are beautiful, aren't they? Which kind do you like best?" At the same time, both the little maid and Ethan felt their hearts sink, because although she had handed Violet's bouquet to her master, she had forgotten to tell him what flowers were in it. Fortunately, Ethan was quick enough. "Why are you being shy? Didn't he say before that purple flowers are the prettiest?" After chatting a little longer, Vincent took his leave on the excuse that he was tired. "May I come see you again?" "Of course, you're welcome anytime." Just as everything seemed to be going fairly smoothly, Paula ran toward the door. But at that very moment, something still went wrong. Violet suddenly threw herself at Vincent, her eyes full of tears. "I missed you so much." And at that instant, disaster struck. The girl's originally sweet and gentle voice suddenly turned cold as she demanded in disbelief, "Vincent, your eyes?" The fear of his secret being exposed made Vincent shove her away, then turn and head toward the door. But in his panic, his knees slammed hard into the corner of the table. Losing his balance, he staggered forward, then caught his foot on the table leg, and fell heavily to the floor. Paula rushed up in a panic to support him, and a warm rush filled Vincent's nose. In the end, something had happened after all, and in the worst possible way. He locked himself in his room again, and no matter how Violet knocked, he gave no response. Even practice was useless. "It's all over now." Vincent lifted his head, but kept repeating only one thing. "It can't be over yet. Their relationship still can't break apart like this." Violet's calls, one after another, were completely swallowed by the growing sound of the rain. In the end, the girl learned the whole truth from Ethan. "How is Vincent? He must be very angry, right?" "You misunderstand. Master isn't angry. But I hurt him." From Violet's account, Paula finally learned the story between them. "I was never a proper fiancé when I was growing up. I always hated the etiquette and accomplishments a lady was supposed to learn. Rather than sit properly and elegantly, I liked running around everywhere with my skirts in my hands. I was a complete tomboy. So my mother was always scolding me, saying that a lady should not be like that, or no man would ever like me. She had never understood why it was so important to be liked by men. But every time she was scolded, Vincent would come comfort her. He said he liked the me who held nothing back and honestly lived as myself. He also said that rather than one person endlessly sacrificing for the other, he hoped two people could slowly learn to fit together." Paula was somewhat surprised. She had not expected her master to say such things. "So when I learned I was going to be engaged to Vincent, I was truly happy because I could spend my life with someone who valued my inner self more than my appearance. Even if Vincent only saw me as a friend or as family, it wouldn't matter. I would still love my husband with all my heart until that love truly pushed me into a sea of fire. From then on, I made up my mind that even if everyone else left him, I would definitely stay by his side and support him. So I had always believed that no matter what Vincent became, I would be able to accept it. But when I truly learned about Vincent's condition, even if it was only for an instant. I still felt disgust toward him. I'm truly useless. If I had been a little more perceptive, I should have realized long ago that he had been suffering all this time. My coming here must have made him feel exhausted and frightened. But I noticed nothing and kept selfishly pressing him about why he refused to see me. I have no right to become his wife. The guilt that came after her convictions collapsed, nearly swallowed Violet whole. Paula immediately denied it. That's not true. But a proper wife should have calmly and gently taken him into her arms and told him that everything was all right, that I still loved him just the same. Please don't blame yourself like that. Master and young Master Christopher hid this from you on purpose. How could you possibly have known? And besides, I think your reaction was actually very normal. If it were anyone else, even Master himself, he would probably understand. Only then did Violet, whose eyes were swollen like walnuts from crying, slowly raise her head. Really? Paula nodded hard. Of course it's true. But Vincent probably doesn't want to see me anymore. In Paula's view, it was not that Master did not want to see her, but that he was afraid she would break off the engagement. If they parted like this, no one knew when they would see each other again. What if before then they really did break off the engagement? Thinking of another person who was suffering just as much, Paula felt a sharp ache in her chest too. She asked softly, "Miss Violet, do you still want to spend your life with Master now?" Violet smiled. "Yes, that will never change." "Then follow your own heart." "So, what if you're a little willful? As long as it can become the chance for the two of you to face each other again, that will be enough." The image of Paula holding her hand overlapped with the image of the small figure Vincent had once been. Just as he had once given her courage and hope, this time she wanted to pass that courage on as well. "Then I'll keep being willful. Even if people call me greedy, it doesn't matter, as long as that lets me see Vincent. This time, you'll keep supporting me too, won't you?" Not only her appearance, Violet's very soul shone so brightly that it was almost impossible to look at directly. Paula could not help wondering, if she too ever fell in love, would she become like that as well? Something like that would probably never happen, because this noble young lady, who was the same age as her, would continue to have smooth and beautiful hands, while Paula's hands would only remain rough like this. Even if some fairy tale miracle really did happen, it probably would have nothing to do with her. Even so, Paula still smiled. "Of course, I'd be happy to support you." The next day, Violet began greeting Vincent through the door. Even though he never responded, she still greeted him on time every single day. Even Ethan could not help trying to persuade her. "You can't stay here forever. Your father already." "Ethan, Vincent has just been hurt too deeply when his parents died. He must have suffered terribly too." Paula wanted to try helping them, but the moment she had only just mentioned Violet's name, Vincent immediately reacted with resistance. "I've lost my appetite." Miss Violet said she understands you." Unexpectedly, however, that only made Vincent angry. "Understands what? Does she think her blind fiancé is pitiable, so she wants to throw me a little sympathy? Why would you say something like that?" "Because that's the truth." He suddenly flung out his hand and knocked over the soup plate. Paula had no choice but to end the topic and tend to his wound. "That's enough. Get out." Vincent had once again become willful and sharp-tongued, but Paula knew very well that the more fragile and ashamed he felt, the more he would bristle all over and wrap himself up in cruelty, just like he was doing now.
So she
Absolutely would not give up. The door was pushed open with a bang by her. Vincent's tone was cold. "Why are you here again?" The hurried footsteps made him turn his face toward the little maid. The girl said loudly, "Excuse me." Dozens of letters came fluttering down from the air. "These are the letters Miss Violet has sent during this time." Even knowing that you would not reply, she still insisted on sending one every 2 days. "Ever since I came to stay here, I have received every single one without missing any. Master, I'm not very good with words, so I can't give you any especially good advice right now, but I think at the very least, these feelings are absolutely genuine." Vincent reached out and touched the scattered letters on the bed. Falling silent, Paula continued, "If you're willing, I can read these letters to you. After reading them, perhaps you'll be able to gather your courage." She hoped Vincent would not drive away someone truly important because of the doubts in his heart, and she also hoped he would not become lonely again. "Please, gather your courage." After a long time, Vincent finally spoke. "Forget it.
You don't need to read them to me.
I already know what she would write. I never thought Violet had actually been sending me letters all this time." He let out a soft sigh.
Fine.
"I'll go see her." Just as Paula was feeling happy that the mission had succeeded, this Tsundra cat immediately bristled again. "Wait, the reason Violet is staying here, don't tell me it's because you've been encouraging her behind my back." Of course, the little maid could not possibly admit it. What a thick-skinned person. "Fine, go call her over." Very soon, Ethan brought the girl there. She immediately ran toward Vincent, who was standing by the window. "I will absolutely not break off the engagement, and I won't tell anyone about your condition either." Vincent gently patted her back. Seeing the few of them finally reconciled, Paula's lips could not help curving upward too. After Violet and Ethan left, she leaned closer with a smile and asked, "Well?" Vincent could not see, but he could still guess what expression Paula had on her face now. "Don't look so smug." After saying that, he ended up smiling too. He suddenly caught hold of the little maid. "But I still have to thank you." Vincent held her, and this man, who was always unforgiving with his words, actually thanked her seriously. Do you remember what happened during practice last time? That thank you of mine was actually meant for you. And the way you struggled so hard to say that you missed me was really funny. After practicing, he was now able to follow a voice and naturally let his gaze fall on the other person. Really thank you. That expression, which did not belong to her and which she had only secretly glimpsed before, was now turned toward her. No, actually, originally, Paula stared blankly at Vincent, and for a moment, even her thinking came to a halt. Alarm bells went off wildly in her heart, and until the next morning, when she woke up in bed, those alarm bells were still ringing inexplicably, without stopping. Unlike the light and cheerful atmosphere in the mansion, Paula began to feel uncomfortable. Why was she here? Early in the morning, she had been forcibly dragged here by Violet. Ethan teased Violet for having a bad temper, and the ill-tempered young lady immediately shot back, telling him to shut up. No, she had better slip away first. Just as she picked up the teapot, Vincent keenly noticed it. Where are you going? She hurriedly explained. The tea is almost gone. I'm going to add some more. I can do without tea. Stay here. At once, everyone's eyes fell on her. Look how anxious you are. Anyone who didn't know better would think Miss Maid was going to be separated from you forever. She needs room to breathe too. Anyone would feel awkward if they had to stick to their employer all day. What did I do? What exactly did I do to make her uncomfortable? Exactly this, how you are right now. Miss Maid, go on. Although with Ethan's help she finally managed to leave, that uncomfortable feeling only grew stronger. She prepared a fresh pot of tea, and even deliberately slowed her movements, not really wanting to go back. Wait,
Who was that?
he was talking familiarly with Violet. When the other person turned his head to the side, Paula suddenly remembered. It was the man she had met in the woods before. Come here quickly, I'll introduce someone to you. This is Ethan's younger brother. Paula froze at once. Young Master Christopher. You actually have a younger brother? Ethan looked smug. What? Have I never mentioned that I have a kind, handsome younger brother who makes me immensely proud? Come on, get acquainted. This is the maid responsible for taking care of Vincent. The man extended his hand toward her. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Lucas Christopher. No wonder he had been able to move freely in and out of this place before. She had thought it would only be an ordinary handshake greeting, but to her surprise, Lucas directly kissed her hand. You can just call me Lucas. No, really, these brothers were far too alike. Seeing that Paula seemed somewhat restrained, Lucas took the initiative to start a conversation. My brother and sister should have put you through quite a bit, since they're all rather unusual. Ethan's lips curled up. How could that be? Miss Maid likes me very much. Violet pretended to be angry. Listen to yourselves. This is too much. So, everyone has been hiding it from me all along. Lucas gave an apologetic smile. It was because Brother Vincent didn't want you to know. Paula paused slightly. So, young Master Lucas knew about this too. Wait. Master had clearly said before that it was the Christopher family who had caused him to end up like this. That instant of panic made her fail to hold the tray steady, but luckily someone caught it in time, and once again it was Lucas. She nervously took a step back. You still don't have a teacup. I'll go get one right now. With that, she fled in flustered haste. Lucas quietly watched her retreating figure. Paula carried a fresh teacup. She really should stop overthinking things. After all, she was not one of the people directly involved. But unexpectedly, when she turned around, she ran into Lucas again. I came out for some air. By the way, you still haven't told me your name. My name is Paula. Paula. He softly repeated her name, as if he were calling something precious. Paula, we met in the woods before, didn't we? At the time I was wondering who you were. So, it turns out you're the one taking care of Brother Vincent. Did the letter I asked you to pass along that day reach him? Right, that letter written in gold script. May I ask where that letter came from? It had fallen near the mansion gate, so I simply picked it up. I had planned to hand it over when I met a servant, and I just happened to run into you first. Was that letter important? Yes, very important. Thank you for giving it to me. Lucas's voice was very soft, but she still heard him clearly. Luckily, it was just as I thought.
She paused.
What? To be honest, I was very surprised. When I heard Brother Vincent's voice in the woods that day, I thought I must have heard wrong. You two were together then too, weren't you? It seems he really relies on you. That's not it. We were only taking a walk then. Lucas suddenly stepped closer to her. But you already know, don't you, that I'm the one who made him go blind. Whenever we were together, you kept looking at me with wary eyes, didn't you? Paula felt like she was going insane. This man, what exactly was he talking about? The teacup in her hand fell straight to the ground. Vincent vaguely heard the sound of something shattering. He softly called out the little maid's name. The farther Paula retreated, the more the other man advanced step by step. Am I wrong? Just then, a rustling sound suddenly came from nearby. It was Vincent. The moment Vincent appeared, the panicked and helpless Paula immediately came to her senses. She did not continue tangling with Lucas, but grabbed Vincent at once, turned around, and walked straight back. When she looked back, Lucas was only standing there, smiling as he watched them leave. Was it really that person? What do you mean? Your eyes. I heard that the person who made you go blind was young Master Ethan's younger brother. That is, young Master Lucas. Vincent's steps paused. Is that what Lucas said? The little maid nodded in admission. It wasn't him. Master, please stop hiding things from me. If it really was him, then you should stay far away from him. It really wasn't him. Then who did it? After a brief silence, Vincent said an unfamiliar name. James Christopher. He is Ethan's elder half-brother, and the true culprit who made me blind. At that time, however, Paula was only focused on pressing for the truth and forgot that some boundaries should never be crossed lightly. After that, Violet and Ethan came to the mansion often. Lucas would appear with them as well. Paula could never understand it, since it wasn't him. Then why had he said those things to her back then? Those unanswered questions kept snowballing, growing more and more. Was it really not young Master Lucas? And just how much did young Master Ethan know? Then again, she was only a maid. What could she possibly know? This was never something she was meant to interfere in. She only needed to do her own duty well. Only at this moment did she seem to suddenly understand why Master had always been so sharp in the past. The letters written in gold script still arrived on time, and this time they even came with flowers. That lifted Paula's mood a little. It's so quiet today. Somehow it feels a little lonely. Vincent turned toward her voice. Not at all. I actually find it easier when I'm alone. You really are cold-hearted. The man lowered his head and smiled lightly. Then I'll take that as praise. Paula suddenly realized that she was understanding her master less and less. She had originally thought he was just someone whose temper had worsened because he had gone blind. But now, simply sitting there quietly, he already looked like a painting. At times like this, what exactly was he thinking about? Vincent sniffed lightly. Since just now, I've been smelling something sweet. Paula turned and picked up the dessert on the table. The kitchen made cake today. I've already placed it in front of you with the utensils. Vincent fumbled around and picked up the fork. He poked downwards several times,
but still failed to spear anything.
Paula had no choice but to pick up a small piece of cake and hold it to his mouth. The cat, who had still been frowning just a moment before, relaxed his brows and eyes the instant he bit into the cake. She had heard that Master had loved this since childhood, and it seemed that was indeed true. Was it really that delicious? She quietly leaned closer. She also picked up a piece and took a gentle bite. Good heavens, so there really was something this delicious. The little maid could not help savoring it carefully. The wind lightly lifted her hair. Vincent narrowed his eyes slightly. I think I hear some kind of rustling sound. Maybe it's because the ribbon I tied is a little long, so it makes a sound when the wind blows it. It was a ribbon Miss Violet gave me. She personally helped fix my hair. When you helped me make the bouquet before, didn't you use your own ribbon?
I felt bad about that the whole time.
There, look, do you like it? Thanks to your advice, I was able to gather my courage, so I hope you'll accept this gift. She really had no way to refuse, so she could only accept it. You should be very happy, right? Paula looked a little embarrassed. I am happy, yes, but I also feel a little burdened because the ribbon she gave me is too beautiful. I don't even know whether I have the right to wear it. You do. Vincent's voice was very soft. It must suit you perfectly. No doubt it makes your beauty stand out even more. The little maid froze at once. Where did you hear something like that? Violet says things like that often. She knew that Master must have imagined her as someone like Alicia, which was why he said such things. She did not want to continue this topic. I'll go get today's book. Even though Vincent called out to her, she did not stop. After a while she was reading aloud, Vincent suddenly asked again, you seem to be reading happily today. Do you like life as it is now? Why are you suddenly asking that? What I mean is, are you truly satisfied with this kind of life? Staying in the mansion only to take care of me? Didn't I say before that this isn't a place fit for dreams? Though I don't know why you're suddenly asking, I am very satisfied. You don't want to go home? Not really. Why? Because I have no reason to go back. You said before that you had sisters, didn't you? What child are you in your family? I'm the eldest daughter. You seem to have mentioned the second child before. Paula closed the book. So you remembered, but why are you suddenly asking all this? It's rather embarrassing, because when I think about it carefully, I feel like I've hardly ever heard you talk about yourself. Your second sister must miss you very much, right? No, she won't. She went very far away. Paula looked at the sky outside the window, her voice light as a sigh. Because her siblings are all there, everyone should already have escaped the hell on earth ravaged by that demon, and be living happy lives. Perhaps she might even resent me, her older sister. It sounds like she married into a good place. Master had misunderstood her meaning, but Paula did not want to explain. Other than the third sister, Father had actually cared for her very much. She wondered how they were doing now. And your mother? The girl instinctively clenched her skirt. She tried hard to keep her tone sounding no different from usual. I don't have a mother. After all, she knew nothing about her mother.
I see.
Then there really isn't much to think about. She suddenly glared at that man speaking in such a calm tone. Enough. Stop asking, and stop stabbing right into my heart like this. But yet she still could not stop herself from blurting it out. Then what about you? Do you miss your mother? She knew that her master's mother had also died in an accident. Asking this was nothing more than wanting to make him suffer too. Why was she so vile? Master clearly knew nothing about her past. Vincent, however, answered. No. She froze.
Why?
Because we'll meet again in the future anyway, so there's no need to miss her. Rather than sink into grief and stop moving forward, it's better simply to cast that emotion aside. It sounded very cold, yet Paula found herself understanding it for some reason, because she too had once been completely drowned in the immense grief brought by losing family. But if one wanted to keep living, there was simply no time to slowly process those emotions. One could only tear them forcibly away from oneself. So was his life like that too? Although you said this isn't a place fit for dreams, You must still have a wish you want to fulfill, right? Vincent picked up his teacup. I hope I can see again. All right then, she should never have asked that. Vincent turned the question back on her. What about you? Even if it's just a daydream, is there anything you want to achieve? Paula's wish was simple and realistic. I want to live a little longer, and preferably suffer a little less. My life will probably be nothing more than this anyway, so I never dare hope for too much. I see. Then just stay here. At least you won't have to suffer outside. Do you want me to keep staying here? I permit it. You may stay forever. Paula could not help wondering what exactly was wrong with him today. Maybe she should just have him put that in writing. Vincent suddenly reached out his hand. He gently took hold of the ends of her hair and promised in a low voice, "You are mine. I will protect you. So stay by my side, always and forever." Only at this moment did Paula finally realize that the man who had once given up on himself and shut himself away was no longer that same ruined figure hiding in his room. After I went blind, my other senses actually became sharper. The rhythm of breathing, the tremor in a voice, even the tiny noises around me. How about I guess what state you're in right now? You go silent whenever you're embarrassed. Right now, you're probably so moved you're standing there with your mouth open. Not at all. Paula's rebuttal was as soft as a mosquito's buzz. You guessed wrong. Vincent deliberately drew out his tone. Oh, really? The little maid did not want to become too close to her master. During that time when he had been trapped in his room, he had indeed needed her. But now, he had already walked out of that door step by step. In a relationship like this, feelings like that would only cause trouble. From the moment she became aware of that little emotion in her heart that had to be hidden, Paula forced herself back into an ordinary routine. But accidents and threats began pressing in one after another. The head maid suddenly grabbed her hard. Paula, take Master out at once. Go as far away as you can. I'll explain things to Master separately. When she was ready to come back, she happened to run into Isabella helping Vincent out of the room. The two of them said nothing along the way. Only after they had walked out of the mansion did she finally fail to hold back any longer and ask, what exactly happened? Vincent said that he didn't know either, but his hand was trembling slightly. Lately, Master had been getting better and better at hiding what was on his mind. Although she truly wanted to know, since Master had not told her, he must have had his own reasons. Paula gently tightened her grip on his hand. I don't know where we should go either, but the head maid said we should go somewhere far away and safe. Along the way, he was the one leading her almost the whole time. Where are you taking me? Vincent reached out and touched the rough tree bark, as if confirming the direction. Before long, a rusted iron gate appeared in front of them. Paula's eyes widened at once. So, there's actually a gate here. This is a route used only in emergencies. If you go out from here, you can reach the nearby village. Paula reached out and touched the iron gate. She suddenly felt that if she pushed it open, it would be like stepping into another world. It's just like a secret door. Maybe there are magical animals and fairies outside. Vincent turned his face slightly. I've long thought you've read too many books. Imagination is supposed to be free. This path was originally known only to our family. Now I'm the only one who still remembers it. In contrast to Vincent's somewhat downcast tone, the little maid's voice carried a playful note. But now I know too. That's true. Vincent's voice lowered. Now only you and I know. But how exactly did you find this place? Master did not answer, and instead turned and pulled her back the way they had come. Feel here. There are marks carved into the trees. As long as you follow those marks, you'll find the gate. Let's go to the village. Paula froze for a moment. Are you really all right? Not that long ago, you didn't even dare leave your room. Weren't you always curious about what the village is like? Vincent's tone was calm. It's large and quite well known. Don't worry, people won't connect. A blind man like me with the Count of Belunita, and you'll be by my side too. He paused. Although I'm still afraid of going out now, just like you said, I can't keep standing still forever. I want to try to gather my courage. Paula actually saw a trace of solemn resolve in his expression, and that made it impossible for her to harden her heart and refuse. Then I'll go back and get a hat. No need. We can just buy one when we get to the village. But then it'll be too late. Whenever she went out before, she always wore a hat, especially in crowded places. She had to cover her face. It's all right, I'll be back very soon. Don't go. Vincent suddenly grabbed her. There was a trace of barely concealed panic in his voice. Stay by my side. Something seemed to slam hard into Paula's heart. Didn't you say no one here knows you? Don't worry, it'll only be a moment. I'll run back so fast I won't even have time to watch my footing. If you don't believe me, then count to 100. I'll definitely be back before you finish counting. Vincent finally relented. Then you must come back before I count to 100. If you still aren't back by then, you know what will happen. Paula answered vaguely. I know, then I'll go now. As she ran, she still turned back for one glance. Vincent stood quietly under the tree. After returning to the mansion, she got the hat as quickly as possible. But unlike usual, the mansion was unnaturally quiet at that moment. Just as she was going downstairs, she heard an unfamiliar voice. Where's the Count of Belunita? In the hall, Besides the butler and the head maid, there stood a man who looked like a nobleman. Isabella's gaze swept over. Her expression changed abruptly, but her tone remained as steady as ever. Master has gone out. The man's voice immediately turned cold. Call him back. The instant that man turned around, Paula immediately shrank behind a pillar. The killing intent around him was piercing like icicles. Her instincts told her that she absolutely must not face this man directly. She even quieted her breathing as she slipped out through the back door, not even daring to look back once. Very soon, she returned to her master's side. After hearing Paula's description, Vincent had already guessed who that man was. He probably came to confirm what condition I'm in now. Most likely because he heard that I've recently met with Lucas, Ethan, and Violet. Did he see you?
No.
I only saw him from far away. Only then did Vincent let out a faint breath of relief. You did well. But Paula still could not calm down. I got the hat back, so let's go to the village now. But unexpectedly, Vincent suddenly leaned against her shoulder. Not anymore. I don't have the energy for it now. Then should we go somewhere else instead? The man lifted his eyes toward her voice. Do you feel uncomfortable staying here? She answered softly. No, not uncomfortable. And so she quietly stayed there with him, standing still. The moment she thought of that man from before, bristling with killing intent, she could not help feeling chilled all over. Vincent, however, merely relaxed and closed his eyes, saying lightly, "That's why I told you not to go near him. Even if you really do run into him, don't look up and don't speak to him either." So that person was Ethan's older brother, James Christopher. When they were children, James often used to play with him too. Back then, although he was always cold-faced, he had a strong sense of responsibility. Later, Ethan's father was murdered, and James's temperament changed completely from that time on. Paula was very surprised. Ethan had never shown much sorrow, though Lucas always gave the impression of forcing a smile. From then on, James became terrifying. To achieve his goals, he would stop at nothing. When necessary, he would even go after his own family. Paula could not understand it at all. How could a person change that much? Perhaps that was his true nature all along. After all, you can know a face without knowing a heart. So if you ever meet him, run immediately. I'm saying this for your own good. What about you? Vincent lowered his eyes. I've already tried to stay as far away from him as possible. But why would he come to confirm your condition? This time, Vincent did not answer. He only said lightly, "Some secrets are meant to remain secrets forever. If you break the rules and pry into them on your own, disaster will follow in the end. Right and wrong are not what matter. The real question is whether you can bear the consequences. James's target isn't me. The person he really wants to deal with isn't me either." It was not until the sky had gone completely dark that they returned to the mansion. By then, that person had already left. Life seemed, on the surface, to have returned to its usual calm. But for some reason, this time the letter written in golden script carried a faint sadness between the lines. Could something have happened? The head maid suddenly snatched away the letter and threw it straight into the fireplace. From now on, there is no need to reply to these letters anymore. Paula felt uneasy, but Isabella said it was fine, so she could not very well keep pressing the matter. It was not long after that Paula finally realized that the piece she thought she saw was nothing but an illusion. On a rainy night, Lucas came to the mansion through the storm. Compared with the last time they met, it was as if he were a completely different person. I came to see Brother Vincent, and as if he had already expected it, Master came downstairs alone. Paula brought a clean towel and told him to dry himself first. Before leaving, she still could not help looking back once. Lucas still looked utterly lost. Master stood by the door. "You may go back now." She still felt uneasy, but Vincent suddenly took her hand and softly reassured her. "It's all right, go back." In a situation like this, was it really all right to let them stay alone together? "I'll be right next door. If anything happens, please call me immediately," because the sound of the rain outside was so loud, even with only one wall between them. Paula could not make out the conversation next door. And so, the next day, Vincent told her that Lucas would be staying here for a while. May I ask you a question?" "Go ahead. Is it really all right for young Master Lucas to stay in this mansion?" Vincent smiled faintly. He suddenly pressed a hand on Paula's head and began rubbing her hair back and forth. Paula froze on the spot. "What are you doing?" Vincent still wore a smile. It was as if he had already guessed what Paula was worried about. "It's all right. Don't worry." Very soon, she ran into Lucas again. The man acted as though nothing had happened last night. "Paula, we meet again." He kept asking whether Paula still remembered him. After she answered that she did, he repeatedly insisted that she call him directly by his name. Only after Paula was willing to call him Lucas did he finally let it go. She had merely called his name. Was there really any need for him to be that happy? Paula had only come to clean the room, but Lucas insisted on staying behind to read, and even told her not to be nervous. But once she truly began cleaning, this man's gaze never left her. "Young Master Lucas, is there something you want to say to me?" "No, not at all." Seeing that Paula still looked tense, he stood up. "Paula, you're still very wary of me. Is it because of those things I said last time?" The words, "I'm the one who made him go blind," still weighed heavily on her heart. But now she already knew that was not true. "You misunderstand." Lucas put away his smile. "I wasn't joking." She tightened her grip on the broom in her hand and gave no reply. But the other party suddenly muttered to himself in a low voice, Could it be that Brother Vincent told you? I didn't expect he would even tell you that, but I can understand it. After all, having someone by your side whom you can trust is always a good thing. What on earth was he talking about? She had not said a single word. She had better hurry up, finish her work, and leave. Who would have thought that in the very next second, Lucas would suddenly snatch the bucket from her hand? I'll help you. Paula immediately panicked. Please don't do that. Let me do it instead. It's all right. I didn't really have anything to do anyway. If you really get scolded, just say I was the one who insisted on taking over. From then on, Lucas seemed to cling to her completely. He would always pop up out of nowhere and snatch the work from her hands. Although Paula was also grateful for his help, she always felt burdened by it. Except in the early morning, Lucas spent most of his time with Master. When she occasionally passed by, through the half-open crack of the door, she could vaguely hear the sound of their conversation and see the cautious, grave expressions on both their faces. The way they looked was like a warning that an even greater storm was about to arrive. On this day, Master unusually suggested going out for a walk. Lucas came along as well, wearing a gentle smile. If we could have a picnic, that would probably be quite fun. Yet Paula felt an inexplicable unease. Along the way, Lucas's gaze kept unconsciously falling on her. The moment their eyes met, he suddenly said, "That ribbon really suits you. It's beautiful." Paula paused slightly. Only then did she learn that the ribbon Violet had given her had actually been chosen with Lucas's help. "I think pure white suits you especially well." "I see." The girl awkwardly looked away, taking it as nothing more than a polite remark. But Lucas followed after her. "Why won't you believe me? Paula, I would never lie to you." When they arrived at the courtyard, she then remembered that, because she had not known Lucas would be coming too, she had only prepared 2 sets of tea things. Lucas noticed very quickly. "I don't need any. I'm not really in the mood for tea right now." After thinking for a moment, she handed him the cake instead. When she turned her head, however, she saw Vincent with a face full of anticipation, and she could not help laughing. It seemed her master really did love sweets. Of course, she herself liked them very much too. As the two of them seriously savored the cake, Lucas grew visibly dejected because he did not like sweets at all. "Do both of you really think it tastes that good?" "It's not exactly inedible." Paula puffed out her cheeks. "It's obviously especially delicious." Lucas let out a soft sigh. It seemed he alone truly could not handle it. Just then, seeing that Paula had already finished hers, he held out his own portion to her. "Here. You can have it. It's still too sweet for me." "Is that really all right?" Paula thanked him and took the cake. But then she suddenly caught sight of her master's gaze. At once she shielded the cake in her arms. "Young Master Lucas gave this to me." Vincent looked helpless. "I haven't even said anything yet." This scene made Lucas laugh out loud. "Paula, the more time I spend with you, the more interesting I find you. It's a good thing you and Brother Vincent are so close." "Close? How could that be? You must be mistaken." "Look, isn't this exactly proof of what I mean when I say you're close?" When it came time for the daily reading session, Lucas asked in confusion, "What are you doing?" After Paula explained, she continued reading. Lucas was obviously surprised. He had not expected Vincent to listen to fairy tales. But when he heard the content of the story, he suddenly fell quiet. "I want to listen too." With an extra listener all of a sudden, Paula felt inexplicably nervous instead. After she finished reading a book, Lucas smiled and praised her. "Maybe because you read so smoothly, I was completely absorbed. Thanks to you, I enjoyed listening very much." "You flatter me." Paula closed the book, then glared at Vincent again. This guy would let out a low sigh whenever he was even slightly dissatisfied, so she had really put in a lot of effort into reading aloud. Vincent curled his lip. "You have improved compared to before." The little maid instantly bristled. Would it really kill him to praise her properly? Lucas looked at the two of them, then slowly lowered his eyes. "Brother, to be honest, I'm finally relieved now." "What do you mean?" "You really look relaxed. Before, when I only heard what others said, I was still worried. And even after seeing it with my own eyes, I was still half doubtful. It wasn't until after I stayed here that I understood. You truly are living well now. I'm really glad. I didn't even know before that you like sweets. And I didn't know that now you were living this kind of peaceful life, taking walks and listening to books. Now I can finally stop worrying." His eyes seemed to redden slightly. Paula suddenly remembered that Lucas had once personally said he was the one who had made Master go blind, which meant he had known about Master's condition from the very beginning. And the things they had truly spoken about between them were probably even heavier than she could imagine. Huh. Vincent suddenly set down his teacup. "That's disgustingly sentimental." "How is it?" That shift in atmosphere came far too suddenly. But Lucas suddenly looked at her. "That's all thanks to Paula being by your side." "Thank you." Paula quickly waved her hands. "You're too polite." But while calmly drinking tea, Vincent said, "That's what she's supposed to do in the first place. What is there to thank her for? Couldn't this man say something nice for once?" So annoyed that she directly gulped down a big mouthful of tea. That too, with someone that beautiful by your side, it would be hard not to pull yourself together. Paula froze on the spot. Vincent, meanwhile, looked puzzled. "Beautiful?
What are you talking about, Paula?"
Pure white suits her very well." "I see." Seriously? Did he really get a proper look at her? In what way was this face of hers considered beautiful? Could his taste really be that unusual? Lucas added something even more outrageous. Paula is beautiful enough to make someone fall in love at first sight. The little maid felt like she was about to fall apart. What was she supposed to do? This man was really far too strange. Even though he could not see anything at all, he was still led by the little maid as they ran through the sea of flowers. Paula kept describing the scenery before them to him. If you could see it with your own eyes, you would definitely marvel at it too. Vincent gently closed his eyes. Through Paula's voice, it was as if he too could see the flower field before them. Your reaction alone is already enough. The little maid immediately urged him, don't just stand there. Reach out and try it. Lucas casually took his cane. Vincent paused slightly, then tried reaching out and brushing his hand over the flowers. The feeling in his palm was soft and light. To him, the sensation was both familiar and unfamiliar. Paula smiled very gently. Master, doesn't it feel wonderful? Vast stretches of flowers, the cool breeze, seemed to be guiding her forward and calling her onward as she ran. At that moment, she seemed to melt into the scenery itself, like a flower swaying softly with the wind. Paula, you're running too fast. She quickly turned back again. Sorry, I didn't mean to run that fast. Lucas smiled lightly. Still, it really has been a long time since we ran so freely like this. It feels good, doesn't it, brother? Vincent's shoulders rose and fell lightly. He suddenly lifted his head, and emotion rarely stirred in those blue eyes that had lost the light. He could no longer remember how long it had been since he had felt like this. Lucas simply sat down on the ground. Doesn't it feel good? He gave a low reply. His whole body slowly relaxed. And then at last he broke into an open, bright smile. Yeah, it does feel good. Night fell, and Paula knocked on Lucas's door. The moment the man opened it, she discovered that he was not wearing a shirt, and hurriedly covered her face in flustered panic. Paula, if you keep staring at me like that, I'm going to get shy. She had come to return his clothes. During the day, Lucas had lent her his coat. Would you like to come in for a cup of tea?
No.
It's already very late. Seeing the girl refuse, he continued persuading her. Just stay a little while. Paula, just a little while. Unable to withstand his pleading, she still ended up following him into the room. I was very happy today, and brother probably was too. Now I finally understand why his condition has been gradually improving. With someone this wonderful by his side, it would be stranger if he didn't get better. She set down the clothes. Today was all thanks to you for taking us to that flower field. And Master himself has also already been trying very hard. Lucas tilted his head up slightly and looked at her quietly. You don't need to be so modest, because your contribution was indispensable from the start. Brother Vincent should understand that very well too. For some reason, she began to feel a little uneasy. Thank you. Since I've already returned your clothes, I'll be going back now. But unexpectedly, the man called out to stop her once again. Do you still think, even now, that when I said before I was the one who made him go blind, it was a lie? It was true. After all, I can't escape responsibility for brother ending up like this. More and more people want to kill me, but I'm too weak. I have neither status nor courage, and I can't even protect myself. So I drew brother Vincent in, and in the end it led to this result. He lost his sight, and I was saved. So this time, it should be my turn. He spoke every word clearly, yet she could not understand a single one of them. What do you mean people want to assassinate you? What do you mean you drew Master in? What exactly are you talking about? Lucas's eyes held sorrow that was impossible to hide. I planned to give him my eyes. Brother's eyes having completely lost function. It's just that the surface was damaged. As long as he has surgery, there is still a chance that his sight can be restored, although this kind of operation is extremely difficult. At present, there still aren't any doctors in the country who can perform the surgery, but recently, there has already been a successful case. Maybe he really still has hope. I'm going to give him my eyes. But it's impossible to give a living person's eyes to someone else. That's not a problem because I'm going to die very soon. Paula completely panicked. She clenched the hem of her clothes tightly. Please don't say something like that. What exactly do you mean? Lucas's tone was calm, as if he were talking about the weather. That is the only thing I can do. I will give him my world. No matter how unbelievable it seemed, she could still see the seriousness in his eyes. Lucas slowly walked closer to her. Their breaths were almost close enough to touch. He quietly looked at Paula, as if he wanted to carve her outline deep into his soul. But in the next second, Lucas suddenly raised his hand and lightly patted her shoulder. Paula, I'm joking. As if nothing had happened, he pushed her toward the door. It wouldn't be good to stay too late, so hurry back. Before closing the door, he even added with a smile, but the expression you made when you got scared was very cute. So, good night. Paula went to find Vincent, full of pent-up anger. Master, please lend me your cane. What are you planning to do with it? It sounds like something happened last night that made me rather unhappy. No wonder I heard that kind of commotion. Take it if you want. If there's someone making you unhappy, you may get angry, or you may hit them directly. Vincent suddenly reached out and grabbed her. He said seriously, but don't use it to hurt yourself. He had actually noticed the injury on Paula's hand. Don't hurt yourself. That concern made a wave of warmth surge up in her heart. Then, can I really hit him? Vincent smiled. I permit it. If he has any objections, tell him it was my order. And so, Paula took her master's cane. She tried swinging it. It actually felt pretty good, even handier than she had imagined. She swung it at the air, imagining the hateful person in front of her, and then swung it hard again. So this is where you are. Lucas had just stuck his head out. When he came closer, he almost got hit by the cane. He instantly raised both hands in surrender. Paula, I was wrong.
Please spare me.
I was just wondering where you had run off to. So you were here swinging a cane all this time? The little maid was still puffed up with anger. Who told you to joke about something like that? You're right, all of it. I must have gone stupid for a moment.
To joke about something like that.
To be honest, I've always felt guilty about brother becoming like this. So I've kept thinking about how else I can still help him. And then that kind of thought came to me. I shouldn't have said that. I'm truly sorry. I'm sincerely apologizing to you. The anger in Paula's heart still had not completely faded, but in the end, she still accepted the flower he handed her. Please don't joke about death. She had seen far too much of it. In this world, there were too many people who could not even manage to keep living. Thank you for being willing to forgive me. I was just worrying whether this might leave you with a very bad impression of me. Paula froze. Me? Why? Lucas suddenly showed a bright smile. Because I like you. Paula sighed with helpless amusement. Here we go again. There was no way she would believe him, seeing that this was still her reaction. Lucas suddenly leaned closer and lightly placed a kiss on her cheek. Paula's eyes instantly widened in shock. Her whole body jumped sharply backward, yet the smile on Lucas's face did not fade in the slightest. I really do like you. What on earth was this man doing? A few days later, Violet suddenly burst straight through the door. She loudly announced, I'm moving in too. There was not the slightest ripple on Vincent's face.
Why?
Lucas, meanwhile, looked full of confusion. Sister, did something happen? Ethan has been very busy lately and has no time to keep me company at all. You clearly refused me, yet you let Lucas move in. She suddenly threw her arms around the little maid, her voice full of grievance. Everyone is so heartless. Only Paula is good to me. Pouting angrily, she glared at the two men, who had shown no reaction at all. I came to see Paula. I did not come to see either of you. With that, she took the little maid's hand and pulled her outside. Paula, come with me. I brought you lots of gifts.